There it is. They're playing basketball. Think about that for a second as we're coming to a conversation here with Coach Greenough today of Bay Path. And the boys basketball team here at Bay Path has done an amazing job, definitely mostly of late, kind of just turning around and winning, putting a compilation of winning games together and getting themselves set up for the tournament coming up. And so we're really excited about a conversation with Coach. Coach, how are you today? How are things going up here on the hill?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks, Mr. Packard. Great to be on with you today.
Well, we're glad to have you. And, and I have to apologize. Things have gotten a little crazy around here. I would have loved to have had a few more sessions with you. I mean, you've had a great season. You think about it for a second. You've worked through a little bit of adversity. Your kids have really turned the corner, made some adjustments, and all of a sudden you're looking at 9-9 as a record, and you're right on that cuspice now of getting into the tournament. And that doesn't diminish a big game tonight against Narragansett here at home. But aside from that, let's circle back for a second. Let's talk about your team. Let's talk about this year and just a little bit about what your thoughts are.
Okay, yeah, sure. I was very excited, as I still am, going into this season from what we started developing last year. We had a lot of really good young kids in the program that were coming back, and we had, at that point anyways, some good senior leadership too, with some players returning as well. Unfortunately, our year started off with one of our senior leaders, Trent Zeller, not being able to play for the season, unfortunately, which kind of set us back a little bit, more so just from the leadership role and experience role. And I think some of the other kids on the team, it took them a little bit of while, some of the younger kids, to adapt to that and realize that, okay, well, now I'm the person that's got to step up. And I think at the beginning of the season, that kind of took our team a little time to adjust to. We also probably have what I would consider the most difficult schedule that we've ever had in my 30 plus years of coaching here. Which some people look at a 9-9 record, but where we came from at 2-7 to start the year with the schedule that we had. I'm very proud of these kids, and they've done an awesome job and battled back. But a lot of these younger kids have really developed over the course of the year. And they're starting to play the way that I knew they were capable of playing. It's just kind of taken us a little bit longer. A lot of teams have played a box and one on us, double team. Peter Barbale, one of our high scorers on our team, one of the better players in Central Mass. And it's taken the rest of the team a little bit of time to adjust to, what is my role, when he's being denied the basketball, and other kids took a little while to step up, and now they're really starting to step up and emerge. And, sometimes we're almost open to the other teams, when they cover them like that, so that we can get some easier shots with some other kids on our team. So it's been a learning process, but it's been really fun to watch them progress and develop over the course of the year.
Hey, let's talk about that for a second. And I have a little bit of background as coaching myself, and I love when I see you use the wording 2-7 turn the corner. Okay. Nothing I like to hear more than there's a teachable moment where kids can adapt and adjust and to begin to see their strengths as a unit and start to perform. What do you think some of those key components were to that turnaround, Coach?
Well, number one was defense. Again, kind of going back to Trent, who I had mentioned earlier. He was one of the better defenders in Central Massachusetts last year. And all of a sudden, when that was taken away from our team, some of the other kids, had to realize that it had to be more of a team defensive effort. I think some of them maybe tried to do things individually, but they weren't quite catching on to the concept of our team defense. And in order to run the defense that we run here, they have to play together, and they have to do things on the same, wavelength. And they've started to really develop that over the course of the year. We were giving up well over 50 points a game for the first half of the year, and now we're down more in the 40 to 42 range, which is making us much more successful. So that's the kind of defense that is going to help us. When I try to teach the kids all the time, I'm a defensive coach. I have been for years, and I've always said that your defense will be there every night. If you work hard, it'll be there. Sometimes the offense isn't always there, but defense will keep you in games and give you a chance to win. And it's taken these kids a while to buy into that, but I think they have. So that's good.
Trent Zeller, outstanding athlete, great basketball player, soccer player, whatever he does is, and you talk about filling his shoes and how hard that is. And those are the unpredictable things that coaches have to deal with when injuries do occur. Let's talk about some individuals who have stepped up. Obviously Peter Barbale, he is quite an offensive player. There's no doubt about it, but he's also got a surrounding cast, and you can't do it with just one individual. So talk a little bit about the players and how they've impacted your ability to win these games, definitely of late.
Yeah, it's interesting because, when I looked at some of these players at the beginning of the year, they were kind of more like they were going to be role players for us and fill some specific roles that we needed, whether it be rebounding, whether it be some shooting, whether it could be some defense. Um, and some of these kids, because of this injury, it's been on a positive side too. I always try to look at the positive side of things, and they've now been able to become more in the forefront, the limelight, so to speak, and they're getting more minutes and they're getting more playing time and they're getting more experience, which I think is only going to help for next year because we do have a very young team with most of our players returning. And the valuable experience they're going to gain will be outstanding. But people like Ed Simon Jr., he has really emerged on defensively. He's kind of taken the Trent role in a way. He's been in charge, him and Dale Nussey, another junior, of kind of taking on the other team's high scorers and trying to shut them down. And to me, a defense starts where if you can take away the other team's best scorer, it really makes the rest of the team kind of search. And sometimes offensively, they can really struggle if they don't have the answers there. If they don't have the complete team on offense, they can really struggle. So I always like to try to take away the other team's, what they do best and try to let the other kids win the game for them. Zach Moody is really come on strong for us over the course of the year. He was actually playing sharing time between JV and varsity when the year started, and now he's starting for us at the end of the year. So it just goes to show you how much a kid can develop so quickly and come on the scene if they listen and they work hard. And he's fit in well with our defensive philosophy, and he's hit some big shots for us too. So we got some younger kids too, some sophomores, Luke Smolsky and Elias Vega, who have really got some great valuable experience as sophomores in the program, which again can only help for the future moving forward. But I'll be honest with you, I tell the kids almost every single day in practice, really up and down the roster, like they've all contributed. And, sometimes it's hard for a coach to say that, that a full roster has contributed to the success. But I tell them I could really start any five of you on any given night, and I think lately, sometimes people get caught up on who's starting and who's, and I always like to say it's who's finishing the game sometimes who's more important, who's making it happen that night, and I think the kids are finally starting to catch on to that they don't necessarily have to be the first five on the court, but when they get on there, they've got to do everything they can to help our team. So they're really catching on to that.
We use the term coachability, and we, even in our business and education, we want educators to be coachable. So as head coaches, that's what we do, and from where I stand right now, and it's important for all to understand. So let's talk a little bit about role players, because role players play a significant part of teams' overall success. If you in your mind could just identify a couple of individuals that have accepted really their role really well and have helped define this movement forward for you.
Yeah, again, I'll go back with I think Ed Simon and Dale Nussey have understood their role, which is to shut down the other team's high scorers. Mateo Master Tatario, seeing one of our seniors that we have on our team, backup center that we have, and Corey Scoville, our other center, have done a really good job of rebounding the basketball very well. We need that from them, with our bigs. Peter Barbale understands his role tremendously on this team. He knows when it's time to score because he really, truly could at will every time down the court if he wanted to. But he also does a very good job of mixing it up and getting the other kids involved on the team, which I think is very important. Sometimes I think even too much. Very unselfish player, and he wants to get his teammates involved. And when he's doing that, it's just making the other kids a lot better too. So. They're all understood there. I have kids that come in off the bench, like an Elias Vega, who's coming in for defensive ability, and Luke Smolsky and Greg Downey give us some shooting off the bench. So they all have their little thing that they add to this team to make it successful. And as I said, I couldn't be more happy at this point in the season of how it's all coming together. We just had a game against Nipmunk the other night. It was a very, very good team, and over at their building, and all of them just played the best game that they can play all in one night. And I've been kind of waiting for that to happen because it's kind of been in bits and pieces where one has played good one night, the other one struggled, but it all came together on that night. And I think it showed the team and gave them a lot of confidence what we're capable of doing when everybody's, flying on all cylinders, so to speak. So.
Well, Nipmuc is a very good team. I do moonlight as a basketball official, and I've had them a couple of times. And player for player, you guys played really well to win handily going away, as far as I'm concerned. And it sends a loud message that you guys can play with anybody. You've got great kids. They're just high quality kids who love to play together, and bringing that group together with a common goal. That's where it could get really fun here and potentially in the postseason. So let's just switch gears for a second and talk about that. Tonight's a big night for you and your team, Coach. Let's talk a little bit about this game preparation.
Yeah, it is a big night for us. Again, if you would have told me 3 weeks ago, when we were 2-7, that this night would even be here, I'd be like, well, it's possible, but they're going to have to do a lot of hard work to get there, and they have done that. They've put in the work. They believed that they could get there, which is the most important thing. And now being 9-9, we need one win to get into the tournament. And, we've got 2 games left here to do it, but we don't want to wait. We want to do this tonight. So I think the kids are pretty excited about this game tonight. They're ready to go. And I'm pretty sure that, coming off the performance they had against Nipmuc, if they can play at that level, I think we stand a good chance tonight. So I'm excited to see how the kids respond after that game.
All right, well, let's take a look. Key matchups tonight. The team you're playing, do you know anything about them? How do you match up against them? And I'm not looking for predictions because I don't want any coach to step out in that lane and get that prediction.
Yeah, don't
I
make
know
me do
this. Al Greenough team is going to be prepared. They're going to work hard. They're going to distribute the basketball, and they're going to play defense. So how does that look in the formula for success for tonight?
Yeah, I'll be honest, we were really working on stressing in practice yesterday with the kids that, there are some teams that you play depending on their opponents and who they have played during the course of the year. You can kind of look at a team. I've seen them on film a couple of times. I've seen them in person once. And I don't think that, they have seen the kind of defensive pressure that we put on this year. I don't feel like they've experienced that. So I do think that's one thing that's in our favor, and we really stressed that at practice yesterday. Not allowing the penetration into the lane, closing off all avenues to get into the lane. And I think if we do that and we really clamp down on defense, I think we have a really good chance of winning this game. So I've stressed it all year, and I'm going to stress it again tonight. But if we're there on the defensive end, I think we have a really good chance. So,
all right, what time is that game tonight for everybody listening out there? What time? What support? What time?
5:30 this evening here at Bay Path.
5:30 this evening here at Bay Path. Hey, if you don't have anything to do, come on up and support the boys, support the team. It should be a great atmosphere. We're looking forward to it. Coach, again, great job so far this year. I know it's not over yet. You still got some unfinished business to do. So on behalf of the entire administration and faculty, we wish you well tonight. Hope the boys do everything they're supposed to do. And more importantly, I hope that you get to that goal you guys have set for yourself because you worked really hard. So congratulations on that.
Thanks so much, Mr. Packard. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, there it is right there, folks. We are going to say they're playing basketball like Curtis Blow said in the beginning. And obviously my IT is not working. But, Coach, good luck tonight. We will see you. And again, go get them. Bay Path strong. Have some fun. That's all we have.
I appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
You got it.